This is Yanlan Lan, another crazy rich CCP elite's offspring causing trouble in another country. She's 23 years old, lives in a Sydney penthouse, owns not one but two Rolls Royces, and no one knows what she actually does. Maybe a student. At the age of 23, there's not a lot of occupations you can do, but if you're a CCP official's kid, maybe one of them is just being rich and wealthy and corrupt from your family's access to power. Now, one night, she was allegedly drunk and took her Tiffany blue Rolls Royce out at 3:30 a.m. and ended up in a head-on collision. Police says that she failed a roadside breath test and then refused the proper one at the station. Now, she's set to go into court next week. This Tiffany blue Kulinan was decked out in Labubus. Bro, I'm telling you, the whole Labubu doll situation, they're like voodoo dolls, man. They curse you. Now, the other car that was involved in the collision, a Mercedes belonging to Mr. George Plasaras, a chauffeur for Australian radio host Kyle Sandilands. Now, Mr. Plasaras is in the ICU for his injuries, and he allegedly suffered pretty bad trauma to his hips, especially his right hip. So this woman allegedly had a bail of $70 million and a savings account totaling 270 billion Australian dollars. Okay, let me just say this. That's impossible. And this is a test of comprehending numbers. Look, the total national savings amount in Australia is 1.47 trillion Australian dollars. So you're telling me that this woman, I'm supposed to believe that she had 18% of Australia's savings in her bank account, a commercial bank. Okay, that amount in any single one bank will trigger some sort of a financial review or investigation. Like, where did that money come from? Like, come on. When it comes to that bail bond, Suge Knight had only a $25 million bond for bail. And you're telling me a random Chinese girl is set at 70 million? That's impossible. For a traffic case too? Also, you're telling me that this woman has 270 billion Australian dollars just sitting around in, I don't know, maybe one or two banks? How did she make that money, like, transfer it into Australia? And what does she do exactly? Anyways, the point is, it really shocks me that people believe this type of stuff without confirming. Now, obviously, this is not the first time that we've seen a Chinese offspring do something crazy. One of the most prominent story was the niece of a former PLA general. Her name was Tiffany Lee, and she had a bail bond set at $66 million in San Mateo County. And that girl actually paid the bond, and then she went back to China. And before we continue today, I have this wonderful product to share with you. This is the South Korean red sea cucumber gel that is hand harvested on the island of Jeju by what's called hanyongs. These are Korean female divers that do hand free dive into the ocean to harvest the sea cucumbers. Now, unlike the traditional colored, the red ones are more nutritious. They have a higher content of saponin and as well as collagen. So it's great for recovery and to help you prevent chronic pain in places like your knees or your back, etc. Now, I have a great testimony. This is from a former teacher. She experiences chronic back pain and she has trouble sleeping at night. And after taking this product, which comes in these gel form, she actually stopped feeling the pain at night. She can rest well and she can sleep better. And so what I've been doing is trying this out for the past 2-3 weeks, and I've noticed that when I do suffer from any sort of pain, I recently had a little bit of lower back soreness, that it really recovers faster. And so I've been taking this for about 2 weeks or maybe 3 weeks now. And I don't even do it every single day, just occasionally when I do remember. So I definitely see the effects of it, and I'll be continuing to take that as well. It helps to lower blood pressure, helps to inhibit blood coagulation, relieve hypertension, coronary heart disease, hepatitis, and other diseases. It also promotes skin cell regeneration and fights against aging. If you buy the box, you also get a Taiwan High Mountain Oolong tea as a gift as well, valued at $60. So check out the link in the description and get your Korean Red Sea Cucumber Gel today. She's got another unregistered Rolls Royce, a ghost sitting in her underground garage. Maybe she's a fan of Ashton Hall, I don't know. But owning two Rolls Royce and having a repeat first name decked out in designer fashion and lives in a penthouse at the age of 23 is no joke. Having a double first name, essentially, it means something. There's an urban legend in China that having a double first name, the same two characters, like Lan Lan in this case, or the son of Bo Xilai, Bo Gua Gua, it's a guarantee that you're either from really powerful or really freaking poor. And so here's what I sort of have issues with this whole persona of this woman, right? I don't think she actually comes from ultra elite. I think she comes from elite in the sense that her parents or family, they probably involved in the CCP to some levels, maybe provincial or ministerial. But she's checking every single stereotype of a Chinese international student that you might find in a mall, at the Gucci store or Chanel store. Like, buys all the branded stuff, probably wears, the latest sets from, I don't know, fall, winter 2025 or something. Loves a good Zwilling knife set, I don't know. Maybe the Echo shoes, or maybe loves the Canada Goose. Yes, they're rich enough to afford a $1 million car toys. Maybe parks one of them in front of an apartment building that looks pretty old, just because they can, owns and probably lives in that penthouse that she bought with cash or something like that, but she doesn't own the entire building. Like, she's rich, and likely her parents are of CCP backgrounds, just not that rich enough like the top level CCP elites. Because I'm not trying to say that this type of stuff doesn't happen to the highest of power, but I am saying that it's really rare for them to be exposed like this, because it's just not beneficial, especially if they're trying to keep their accumulation of wealth in a foreign country safe and on the down low. Obviously, this also is taking place in different countries. Like in the US, there's a lot of CCP elites or their offsprings or their mistresses living somewhere, say in California, or maybe some of the richest zip codes in the country, but they're keeping a pretty low profile in comparison to this, right? You wouldn't want to cause a lot of trouble. And so, I mean, her ties back in China, they're probably corrupt and they're making a lot of money. Her home is in Vaucluse, which is one of the richest zip code in Australia. It's because the reality of Australia is that it's a hotbed of Chinese money. People are buying up multi-million-dollar mansions all the time. There's one where it's sold for $141.5 million, belonging to a man named Zhang. And this is a 3-story luxury sky home in Barangaroo. I hope I pronounced that right. And like I mentioned, you can find this type of behavior amongst the average international student from China in Australia. The Daily Mail actually did one of these investigations. She is far from the only young person, Yanlan Lan that is, who's living this type of luxury lifestyle, right? You have people who also own million-dollar penthouses. You have people who, are shopping in the CBD, which is a very prominent area, and where all the luxury shops are. You have people wearing like watches, all the designer clothes and everything. And many people are very good at flaunting that wealth publicly online as well. But what I do think is sparking a discussion this time around is the fact that there is this mystery group of people who nobody knows or have any idea as to what they're doing in that country, in this case Australia, but what exactly they're doing there, and at the same time owning so much of the luxury stuff and having this lifestyle. And if you go to one of these zip codes in Australia, chances are you'll find that maybe half of the neighbors are all Chinese descent or are Chinese nationals. And to some degree, Australia is okay with this because Chinese investments in real estate and other places into the country is a huge source of income. And Australia is one of the places it's much easier to get to compared to, say, the US. And so many of these Chinese elites go there. And it's been a destination for immigration from China as well. So the aftermath of this is that there's clearly some reasons to believe that this will be settled probably it's not a criminal proceeding, it's a traffic situation, an accident, so that this is going to get resolved that way. There's no reason to believe that this case is going to escalate beyond that, and which is, interesting because everyone seems to want to know what her backgrounds are. But I think the bigger question to ask is how many more like Yanlan Lan is out there in Sydney, across Australia, but also around the world. And yeah, that is something that really talks about the whole wealth accumulation of the CCP elites overseas. And if you really think about it, if they love China so much, why don't they stay in China? Why are they out here? Thank you so much for watching this episode. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Do you think she actually belongs to a powerful CCP family, or is she just some rich, flaunting individual? And like this video and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Until next time, bye-bye.